guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Ree and I am a mom of 2 little kiddos. I have a daughter who just turned 2 and a son who is 4 months old, and I have a little over 1.5 years of pumping experience with the 2 pumps that we're gonna talk about today, and that would be the Spectra S2 and the Motif Luna. So what we're gonna do is we're going to look at each pump individually, and then we're going to kind of compare them side by side, looking at the functions, the size, the parts, and then the price range for each of the pumps. Now, when I say that I have over 1.5 years of experience pumping, with my daughter, I pumped after every nursing session that we did. I exclusively breastfed for about 8 months with my daughter, but I continued to pump after the fact. And with my son, we are well into our breastfeeding journey at 4 months old, and I do pump, not as much as I did with my daughter because I don't really have the time to sit down and pump. So when I do, I want my pumping experience to be quick and efficient and comfortable so that I can get back to being a mom of my toddler as well. I also want to mention AEROFLOW. So this isn't sponsored by any means, but if you have insurance, you can actually get a free breast pump and replacement parts per pregnancy through your insurance, and you can use AEROFLOW to kind of be the middleman between you and insurance. It's just a lot easier that way. I have heard that sometimes if you contact the insurance directly, it can kind of be a hassle to get everything all sorted out. So if you go through AEROFLOW, all you have to do is type in a little bit of information, your name, your policy number, your insurance provider, and I believe your doctor as well. Just a few things though. It's super simple. It takes maybe 5 minutes to do. So once you fill that out, they will email you saying you've been approved or not. I've gone through it with multiple different insurance providers, Anthem and United Healthcare. If you were curious on those two, I got free pumps through both of those insurance providers via AEROFLOW. So what they'll do is they'll email you, let you know that you've been approved, and then they will let you shop, and you will go through the list of pumps, and either they will be free or reduced price. Now, I will touch back on this at the end when we talk about price of the 2 pumps. So again, not sponsored, but if you have insurance, it's a super nice thing to take advantage of because you're already paying for insurance. So if you don't have to pay for an expensive breast pump on top of that, it's always nice. So the first pump that we're gonna be talking about is the Spectra S2. This is a medical grade hardwired breast pump. So this does have to be plugged in. It is not rechargeable. And we're going to look at it up close and personal and kind of see what it's offering. First pump we're looking at is the Spectra S2. So we're gonna look at the functions offered by this pump. We've got your cycle up and down. You've got your mode button. This switches between massage and expression mode. Bless you, dear. I've got my little helper over here helping me today. You have your power button, obviously. This is your vacuum strength, so you can increase or decrease the suction power of the pump. And then there's also a light on here as well that lights up underneath the handle here. And this pump also has a little cup holder here. I find this nice for a water bottle, or you can even fit the pump bottles in this little slot as well. And I want to plug it in and show you some of the features, but I wanted to show you the plug itself. It is a 2-prong plug. So I had to use indoor extension cords a few times, and it works just fine with indoor extension cords because it is a 2-prong and not a 3-prong. And then obviously it just has the part where you actually plug it into the pump, which is here on the side. So let me plug this in and we'll look at some of the things live action. So I've got the pump plugged in. I'm gonna turn it on. And this is expression mode. It does not actually say, but if you hit your mode button, this is your massage mode. There is a little icon on the screen to show that it's in massage mode, and you can turn your vacuum level up or down. It goes up to 5, and your cycle does not change on the massage mode. So if you switch over to expression mode, you can change the flow rate, or I guess the suction rate of your cycle. And you can also change the vacuum strength. It goes all the way up to 12, and obviously it goes all the way down to 1. Now your little light you have here lights underneath the handle, and there are 2 settings. So you have a low and a high setting. So these are the live actions. It also shows you cycle, vacuum. It shows you kind of a little graph of the flow rate or the cycle rate, if you will. And then it also has a clock on here to time your pumping session. It automatically turns off after 30 minutes. Next, we're gonna look at the Motif Luna and see everything offered by this pump. I also wanted to show you the plug on this as well. It is a 2-prong plug. And this plug is nice because it has a little button here you can press and actually unlock this and put an adapter on there. So if you're a traveler, that might be something to keep in mind. And then it has obviously the plug-in. And now looking at our actual pump, we have our mode button to switch between expression and massage, the cycle up or down to change the cycle rate, power button. You have your level of suction here. You can also increase or decrease, and it has a night light as well. It does not have a little cup holder, but it does have a nice handle here to be able to pick it up and move it around. And it has a very large display screen, which I find pretty nice. Plugging in the pump, we're gonna go ahead and turn it on. And this pump actually tells you down here in the corner, it says expression, and we can switch it up to massage. So I love how there's a little indicator on here to tell you which mode you're on so you don't have to guess at it. And it's just a little more straightforward with telling you. So starting with massage mode, because that's typically what I start out on, again, you cannot change the cycle for your massage mode, but you can increase the strength or the level of your suction. It does only go up to 5, again, just like the Spectra. Hitting our mode here, going to expression, you can go down to 30 and it goes up by 4s up to 46, and then again you can increase the suction level all the way to 12. Turn that back down, shift so you don't have a glare on here. It also has a timer and it automatically shuts off after 30 minutes as well. And then your LED light here, you have 3 settings. You have a low, a medium, and a high that actually projects back in here. So it's kind of nice in the dark that this is lit up so you don't actually need the light to be able to see your numbers, and it's back here. Another thing I wanted to mention, that both the Spectra and the Motif offer rechargeable versions of these pumps. However, with rechargeable pumps, I do like to say I do not like a rechargeable pump as my sole breast pump. Just in case you don't have a charger with you or you're out and it dies and you need it. I do have a rechargeable pump, so I do have experience with one, and it's not my favorite for a sole breast pump. Also, with some of the rechargeable ones, they don't offer as many features, but that's neither here nor there. You can do your own research on that, but I wanted to mention that both of these pumps do offer a rechargeable version. Now that we've looked at both pumps, we're gonna kind of compare them side by side. I will put timestamps here of everything I'm gonna talk about, just in case you wanna like skip to something or there's only one particular thing that you're curious about. So check out those timestamps there and you can skip to whatever you're interested in. But the first thing that we're gonna talk about is the function of each of these pumps, and we're gonna look at them side by side. So discussing the function offered by each pump, you have a mode setting, a cycle setting, obviously your power button, you have your suction strength and an LED light on the Motif Luna. And coming over to the Spectra, you also have the cycle rate buttons, the mode button, power button, obviously, your vacuum strength, and a light as well. So as far as the function provided by each pump, it is the same. And I really appreciate that. I'm gonna turn both of these pumps on here so we can see. The only difference that I see as far as function is if you're pumping in the middle of the night, you're probably gonna wanna turn this light on so that you can see the display screen, because it is not backlit in your screen itself. Whereas the Motif Luna, the numbers and everything are backlit so that you can see it in the dark. If you're pumping in the middle of the night like I did a lot, you don't necessarily have to turn on the light. You'll be able to just see what's going on here. So as far as function, that's really the only difference. Is if you're pumping in the middle of the night, you're probably gonna need this light here versus not needing it here. But as far as cycle, vacuum, mode, and light, it is offered on both pumps. So now that we've gone over function, the next category that we're gonna go over is the parts. So talking about parts here, I have one side completely assembled so you can see how everything is put together, and then I have one disassembled here so we can see each individual part. So we have our tubing, we have 3 pieces to our backflow protector, which hook into our flange here. And then on the bottom of your flange, you will have your duck bill. As you can see in this one here, it goes inside and then you screw it on top of your bottle. Now, you may be asking, why is there only one set of parts here? These are the same, this is assembled, this is disassembled. Well, spoiler, both pumps use the exact same parts. So if you're ordering replacement parts on Amazon, or if you go to Target, I believe, has replacement parts that are branded as Spectra parts, they are compatible with both pumps, which is a huge plus, because if you go out of town and something happens and you need parts, or if you're out and about or at work and you need parts, Targets are everywhere. They do offer these parts, and you don't have to find a Motif brand of part. You can find any kind of part on Amazon that is marketed to fit a Spectra pump. They are the exact same. I have used this set of parts with each pump, have absolutely no problems. So that is a huge, huge bonus. Moving along, we're gonna look at size of each of these pumps side by side. So if you're in the market for a breast pump, you're probably concerned about transporting the breast pump, because if you're going back to work or such, or just needing to pump on a regular basis, you might be concerned about the size of the breast pump. So looking at these side by side, you can see the Spectra is quite tall in comparison to the Motif. I really enjoy how small and compact this Motif is versus the Spectra. However, the handle I like on the Spectra, but honestly, taking it to work, the Spectra is a little bit heavier than the Motif. Not much. So weight-wise, they're about the same. They're gonna be about the same if you're throwing them in a pump bag. But as far as the height, this is a little trickier to get in and out of, like a backpack style. And then the actual diameter of each pump is the same. So really the only difference in size here that you're gonna be looking at is the height. So if you have a smaller work bag or laptop bag or anything like that that you already take to work, this would be a little trickier to kind of pop in there, but this one I like that it's nice and compact, it's flat, and it slides right down into a bag that you may already be taking to work. Or if you're going to have an exclusive pump bag, you could carry something a little bit smaller, because it is an additional thing to carry. So sometimes, you know, you have a lunchbox that you take to work plus a pump bag, and then if you have a briefcase or a work bag, then you're going to be adding this as well, or a purse. So if you're going to be adding it, the smaller the better in my opinion. But this is the size comparison side by side so that you can see, so you can kind of make that call for yourself depending on what you're going to be needing. Talking about price between these two pumps. Now I'm going to talk about if you're buying them outright first, and then I will talk about if you get them through insurance via AEROFLOW, because that is my experience for getting them through insurance. So Amazon, everyone uses Amazon. Going through Amazon, you can get the Spectra 2, this pump here, for around $160 to $200, depending on the seller that you can find. Looking it up here on my phone, I have one option that is $160 and one option that is $195. So depending on the seller that you can find via Amazon, the price is gonna range a little bit from $160 to about $200. Now the Motif, so talking about our other pump here, I guess I can turn it so you can actually see it. The Motif pump is a little bit cheaper, which is kind of a bonus. So you're looking around $130 to $150 price range for buying the Motif Luna outright. Now, if you are going through insurance and you're using AEROFLOW to make the process easier, which is what I use, that's what I have the experience using, so that's what I'm going to be talking about. When I went through both providers, United Healthcare and Anthem, the Motif Luna was offered at no cost. I think I did pay about $20 because it came with a bag. So I was paying for the bag, not the pump itself. There was an option to just buy the pump and the parts without the carrying bag, but I chose to get the bag because that's just what I decided to do. But this was no charge via insurance. Now, the Spectra 2, going through AEROFLOW and my insurance, this was not a free breast pump. The price was discounted. I can't remember how much it was discounted, but I do know for a fact it was probably around $100 because it wasn't discounted that much. When comparing the two, free versus not free, that's kind of what we're looking at here as far as price. The Motif is a little bit cheaper of an option if you're on a budget or if you're buying them outright, which is something to think about. So my final thoughts on the two pumps: if you are debating between the two, if you are on a budget and you're not sure which one to get, or if you're just overwhelmed looking for breast pumps, I think both of these are great pumps. I have used both of these interchangeably, love them both, have no complaints. The only thing I would say is the size of the Spectra could be a little more compact. The Luna is obviously a little more compact, so size-wise, I think I would go with the Motif. Price-wise, the Motif is gonna win again. Function, they're gonna be the same. However, the backlight on the display screen is kind of a game changer for me, especially for those middle of the night pumping sessions, because I don't have to turn a light on. I can just see what's going on my screen here without having to turn on a light. If that doesn't matter to you, just keep that in mind. This is your decision, this is your pumping journey, so you really want to cater it to you, but these are just my thoughts here. And the last thing, the parts. The parts are the exact same, so I really can't put one over the other here, but for my final thoughts, if I had to go down the road again and get just one, I would go with the Motif. It's a little more compact, it's a little cheaper, it offers the same exact things that the Spectra does. It's a hardwire pump, the parts are the exact same, but that backlight and the fact that it's a little more compact kind of wins it over for me. That's gonna be it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope it helped you guys make a decision if you're going back and forth between these pumps or if you're in the market for a pump in general. I hope this gave you some good information to kind of base your decision off of. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one real soon. Bye.
you.